Good evening. Tonight we are going to discuss the pentacle and its place in Wiccan and pagan practice. The pentacle used in paganism and in Wicca is usually simply a pentagram inscribed on a flat disc, like so. It's easy to use, easy to make if you don't want to buy one, and you can also opt to not use it at all, just like any other tool. It is almost always circular in nature, though I've seen pentacles cut into a variety of shapes. Mine are all circular, but square or the shape of a pentagram itself are all pretty common. So I prefer a circle. Not everyone does, and that's all right. You can use a different shape. So the pentacle itself is simply a tile with a 5-pointed star carved into it or drawn upon it. I have seen people use a piece of paper and draw a pentacle on it. It works. It all works. It doesn't really matter. It's a representative of a greater concept. So it's just a tile, wood, ceramic, metal, with a pentacle upon it. You might choose to carve other symbols into your pentacle. All right, around the actual pentagram, you might have other symbols. Mine mostly are decorated, though the one I use out of doors is simply a large wooden slab. It is fairly plain. So you can either decorate it with other symbols or leave it as just the pentacle. It is entirely up to you. The pentacle itself can be made of almost any material. I prefer stone. A lot of people prefer wood. It really depends on what resonates with you. I would avoid iron. All right, iron is the one material I would personally not use, and that's because I have an affinity for the Fae, and iron tends not to be loved by the Fae. So I would avoid iron. And you will find a lot of Wiccans and pagans also choose not to use iron. So you might choose metal, such as silver is a good choice, but iron should probably be avoided. The pentacle is linked to the element of earth and to the north. It is both feminine and masculine in nature and represents the eternal balance of the natural world. The pentacle is used for protection to evoke spirits and is usually employed when performing summoning rituals. It is also used for consecrating tools and jewelry. As it represents the material plane, it can also be used to hold food that would be consumed during ritual. This means you would place your offerings, your berries, your nuts, your breads and cakes upon it. And either you would consume them yourself or you would make offering to the goddess and the god. So it can also serve that particular purpose. The empowering of jewelry and gems is often accomplished using the pentacle as well, as is healing and other tasks that involve the rebalancing of energies, because the pentacle is the ultimate tool of balance. The 5 points on the pentacle represent the 5 elements. It is often said in pagan circles that air, fire, water, and earth were all created from the 5th element of spirit. It is the 5th element that represents us and our connection to the divine. The pentacle is a physical reminder of our spiritual awakening. The pentacle is an ancient symbol. It was around long before it was perverted and associated with devil worship. There's nothing wrong or evil in a pentacle. They are simple tools, simple representations of energies greater than ourselves. Though many would claim that the pentacle is a symbol of darkness and evil, it is not the case, not at all. It is the ultimate symbol of balance and of purity. In Wicca and paganism, the pentacle is usually placed with the top point facing upwards. This is to represent the spirit ascending to the gods. However, there are plenty of cases where you will see it inverted. This is not devil worship. Remember, Wiccans and pagans do not believe in the devil. You cannot worship something you don't believe in. So seeing it inverted, like this, is not a symbol of evil. This represents spiritual growth, and in some traditions, it's common for those in a middle degree, for example, if you have a first, second, and third degree in your coven, it is quite common for the second degree initiates to wear their pentacles inverted. Why would they do that? It represents the spiritual growth of the candidates. It is seen as bringing spiritual growth into full circle. Though it is not done in all groups or all traditions, it is still a valid practice. What it means is the pentacle starts upright, rotates, and then finishes its rotation and ends up upright again. So it is simply the completion of a cycle. It is not representative of evil in any way. An inverted pentacle is not necessarily a sign of devil worship or someone wishing to pervert the pentacles for their own uses. In a lot of cases, it is simply representative of spiritual growth, just another expression of spirituality. So where could you get your own pentacle? Well, you can make one if you like. You can use a slab of wood and either draw or carve a pentacle upon it, a pentagram upon it, and use that. You can, like I said, print something and use a piece of paper. That is just as valid. You can order one online, or you can have one custom made for you. Ultimately, it's not important. The tool is simply that. As long as you like using the pentacle you have chosen, then it works for you. It is the right tool for you. So when choosing your pentacle, look far and wide. See what strikes your fancy. Figure out what it is exactly that you would like to use. Remember, it is supposed to be a tool for you. It's not a tool for others. Take a look at what's out there. I think you can get some of them on Amazon these days. It didn't used to be like that. When I was young, they were hard to source, and most of us used things we made at home because actually finding them was not that easy. But these days, you can find anything online. You might even have a local Wiccan or pagan shop close to you. Find out, because if you do, they certainly will carry a pentacle. And you can see if that might be the right style for you. And like all other tools, it is not necessary that you use one. And you can, of course, change your mind at any point. You can change the pentacle you use. You can upgrade or downgrade. You can start using one at any point. You can stop using one at any point. It is a tool for you to use. It is not something that you are required to find and use in your own everyday practice. Thank you for joining us as we discussed just a little bit about the pentacle. We will revisit this topic in the future. Blessed be.